Morning, everybody. This is Dr. Kenton Wakes Up. I'm Dr. Kenton, your spiritual guide and mentor, or whatever. Today is Monday, January 15th, 2024. In the United States, this year, Monday, January 15th, 2024, is Martin Luther King Day. And I'm not a African American studies major or even a history major, though I was at one point. But I would say the thought pieces, the speeches, and the essays written by Martin Luther King, each and every one of them deserve a bit of your attention. And what better day than on a day set aside to recognize Dr. King's birth? Now that, in looking into him a little bit last night, I saw a tweet or whatever. There was a site that had one name and it had a bird logo, and then it got bought by a multi-billionaire guy, and he changed the name of it to a single letter. I don't know what the engagement atoms are called. They used to be called tweets, but on this particular site, the daughter, I think the youngest daughter, if I'm not mistaken, the youngest daughter of Dr. King, Bernice, posted a string or thread of 4, 5, 6 speeches that have been transferred to YouTube and notable essays, maybe most famous essays, like a letter from a Birmingham jail. Talk about the struggle that Dr. King was going through. And as I was looking through Wikipedia, save your judgment about Wikipedia. It's a great place to start. It's not the place to go to and accept only what's written there as gospel, but it's a good place to get yourself pointed in other directions. Well, I learned from there was a link to the March on Washington that happened in, I believe, 1963. And that even the black rights folks, and I'll talk about them as if they were unitary blocks, spelled BLOCS, that there's a block that's being headed up by Martin Luther King, and then there's another block headed up by Malcolm X. And Martin Luther King is organizing this March on Washington to sort of share the grievances in a more public way and try to gather support for this position that you need to have political action, nonviolence, and that the president at that time, it was um, on. Well, it would have been. I guess it would have been. Oh boy, this is important to get this right. That was the Kennedy administration, and there was a request, a presidential request. Now, depending on what day of the year it was, I'm going to guess that it was before November 22nd, 1963. So would have been President Kennedy, though perhaps operating through Lyndon Baines Johnson, because I think Johnson was in charge of the president. President Kennedy had initiatives about racial equality and so forth, and I think he put Johnson in charge of them. Uh, like I said, I'm not a history major, but that's anyway. That there was a request to not have as much paradery. There'd be like a long march through town. There was a fear that that might encourage a bit of violence, and so Martin Luther King agreed to a compromise to have the events on the mall. This is anyway. So leads to this. Eventually, the speech that he gave was paraphrased as the "I Have a Dream" speech, which apparently was not according to Wikipedia. And of course, Wikipedia is a good place to start, but that the portion that people continuously requote and so forth, that part was apparently ad libbed. I have a dream today. But because he took a request from the white power structure, and that's my oversimplification, Malcolm X uh, decided to protest the March on Washington and encouraged everyone who was in his organization, Nation of Islam, to boycott, stay away. Which, points out an important aspect of what it truly means to be an American. That a person may have all the lines drawn, all the I's dotted, and the T's crossed in all the appropriate, supported. There's no doubt this is an American proposition. Uh, a good idea by all other simplifications. A good idea to support the rights and humanity of all Americans. And then another group of people would come along and look at it and say, it's not how we would do it, so it sucks. That sucks. Change it. Um, you didn't think that I was going to quote Beavis and Butthead, but I think maybe Mike Judge had a point there. And this is just me riffing right now. Not that I've prepared any of these, but this sucks, change it is probably encapsulates better than most other slogans the way that Americans get in each other's way. That instead of looking at the bigger picture and saying, hey, on the whole, we're going to be better off, that a group looks at it and says, we're not going to get everything that we want, so it sucks. This can't be the way. And that kind of thinking bothers me, but maybe it's because I'm 52 years old and I've seen the power of compromise and the way that once you get things moving in a particular direction, you can accomplish more than you initially set out to do. But maybe the impression is that if you don't get everything you ask for right away, you never will, never get anything. So, anyway, to you, Dr. King, I appreciate what you tried to do. And to you, Malcolm X, I understand your position, but don't agree with it. And another thing that Americans do is they like to do things to violently oppress each other. So April 4, 1968 was the end of Martin Luther King, but I'm hopeful that his 5-6 years in political influence leads people forever to recognize that getting together, finding a way to live together, finding a way to accomplish together. That's the goal. And if you can't make that happen, try to find another way to get there, because there's no way that you can oppress an entire group of people into the ground forever. You just can't. And if you don't believe me, look into it. All right. I didn't mean to get political this morning, or maybe I did. You never know what your unconscious, subconscious desires are. But anyway, have a great day. If you have today off, enjoy your day off. Maybe spend some time contemplating what it is that Martin Luther King had in mind. And if you don't have today off, I'm sorry. But I acknowledge that it's potentially because you're in a position that's like of critical importance for the operation of society. And not everybody gets a day off when it's appropriate, but I salute you too. All right. Have a great day. And remember, Mondays are ordinarily for meetings and for unspeakable things related to fixing things that got broken over the weekend. This day is a little different. Enjoy your day. Love you. Bye.